Brie. So today I'm doing the top 5 things I think are best about using cloth menstrual pads. So let's get straight into it. The first one for me is comfort. I find cloth pads so much more comfortable than disposables. I don't get itchy, I don't get sweaty, I don't feel uncomfortable. Sometimes I can't even feel like I'm wearing it. It just feels like I'm wearing my underwear and it's getting a little bit damp. Some brands are a little thicker than others, and sometimes I like to wear a thicker pad on my heavier days just so I feel like I've got more backup. But in reality, the thin pads often work just as well for me because my periods are not heavy. Just being able to find pads that are different shapes that you can work with in different lengths, being able to choose the length, being able to choose the absorbency, the absorbent core in the pad, the different top fabrics, the backing fabrics, whether they have PUL or not, they're just so versatile and you can choose them, and that ultimately leads towards you being more comfortable on your period. So that's one of my favourite things about cloth menstrual pads. The next thing for me is cost. Although cloth pads do require quite a large initial investment, some over time they will work out to be a lot cheaper. Cloth pads can be used for up to 10 years and sometimes actually longer than that depending on how well you look after them. So if you think about the fact that I reckon you can get a fully functioning stash for about £100, you only need about 15 to make it work if you wash every other day or something like that throughout your period. But for £100 you divide that by 12 because it's 12 months in a year, and then divide it by 10 again because you could use it for 10 years, you get around 83 pence. So 83 pence per period is what it would cost you. And you don't have to buy disposables again. So that's one of the great things about cloth pads. The next for me is another one that's really important to myself. Environment. 1 billion pads, tampons and applicators go into landfill every year in just North America alone, and that's only one of 7 continents. So imagine how much waste we're generating as a planet. The other thing to think about is that a woman will use roughly 11,000 to 15,000 pads or tampons in her lifetime, and there's roughly 2.7 billion menstruating women in the world right now. So imagine just the effect that's having on the environment. It's got to be diabolical. It's awful, and you can see it when there's tampons washing up onto the beaches. People don't dispose of them properly. It's just absolutely awful. There's a good article actually in a friend of mine's blog which I'll link down below. She does quite a lot of stuff on this, so Tamsin Hopkins, whatever. It's also the Fluffy Mama, Fit and Fluffy Mama. The next thing is health for me. Disposable pads are covered in bacteria, and this is the thing that a lot of people seem to confuse with cloth pads and disposable pads. People think that cloth pads are unsanitary and disposable pads are sanitary, but if I was to ask you what's in your disposable pad, could you actually tell me? And if you looked at the packet, would it be able to tell you? Because the answer is no. And I find it appalling that something we put on and even in, tampons go in our bodies, obviously, we don't actually know what's in them. And they can cause all sorts of illnesses like TSS and all that sort of stuff. And also one of the big worries with pads is that they contain traces of dioxin. This is by the US Environmental Protection Agency as the most toxic of all cancer-causing chemicals. There we go. And sorry, I've got a cold if you can't hear. So they're really bad for your health. The dioxins are, especially. If you've got endometriosis, then that's probably not helping because dioxin is known to encourage endometriosis to grow and get worse and all sorts of stuff. That has been proven actually. We don't know about the other stuff, but that has been proven. Cloth pads can be disinfected and sterilised, whereas disposable pads can't, and they aren't when you buy them. This is the thing to bear in mind. In fact, they are so covered in bacteria that in countries such as Japan, they won't allow the products we have in the UK and the US to be sold because they have such high bacterial levels. They are not sterilised. Get that into your head right now. So for me, health is number 4. And the last one, this doesn't apply to everyone, but it does apply to me, shorter and lighter periods. My periods went from being 8 days to 5 days long, so 8 days to 5 days long, and a lot lighter. I have 1 heavy-ish day now on the first day of my period, then 2 regular days, 1 light day and 1 day of spotting, In fact, I only had 4 days this last cycle. It's just getting ridiculously light. I can still wear on my heaviest day a pad for 4 hours though with no issues at all. So for me it's shorter and lighter periods. However, that does not happen to everyone, and some people get reduced cramps. I definitely did not get that. My cramps are still really bad, but some people don't see any of these changes. However, the comfort and other features often make it quite worthwhile, and who knows, it might work for you, it might not though. So just bear that in mind. If you have endometriosis or any other illness like that, it probably won't work because you have an underlying issue for that. But who knows, it might help with comfortable stuff. So those are my top 5 things about cloth menstrual pads. don't know if I mentioned this before, I've just got 2 pads here. This one is minky, it's a super soft fabric, and this one is cotton in this kind of magical faraway print. So yeah, those are cloth pads, and those are my 5 top reasons why I think cloth pads are great. Obviously, maybe some of you don't like the idea of it as much, but you could perhaps just try buying 1 cloth pad and seeing how it goes, maybe in a black colour so you can't see any of the blood if you're a little bit grossed out by your own blood. Really and truly though, it's just your period and you're going to have to get used to it because you've got it for the next 40 years if you're my age. But thanks for watching, guys. Please subscribe, like me on Facebook, links are all down below and everything, and I will see you later. Bye bye. Hey guys, so I'm finally getting around to doing my updated cup comparison video. I've had a lot of companies send me menstrual cups to review in the last few months, so a lot of you have been asking if I could do an updated cup review, and as you can see there are a ton here, which is why we're in my bathroom, because this is the only ledge I can find that's long enough to hold